we have a lot to get covering and get started here. So Luis, I'm gonna pass it on to you. And first and foremost, let's really talk about, let's go from the top.
Yeah.
Let's really talk about what are NFTs, just a simple like covering and statement. What are NFTs? And then we will then go to what are these things, company colors, and then we can go into a couple steps to get started. So how about that?
Sure. Yeah, and Nick, I'm not sure how whether you mind the interruption, but if anybody has a question while I'm talking, you can unmute and ask me. I'm less going to be looking in the chat. We'll check that. I'll check that too, but pop in and ask, and I'll answer it, because chances are, there's facets I'm going to overlook since I already understand things. But also, let me clarify too that I've been in this space since. Well, I'll introduce myself. I'm a career creative agency professional. I am a strategist, but I'm also a creative. And I have been in this space, the NFT space, since January, which sounds like, not even a full year, right? But in NFT world, in Clubhouse time, in pandemic work from home time, feels like forever. So much has happened since January, and it's continually evolving and continually changing. So things that were normal even 5 months ago have moved on. This is all to say that while I'm sitting here telling you what I know, I don't know everything, and nobody is a total expert in this space. Okay, let's move on to what NFTs are. NFT stands for non-fungible token. And that's, compared to a fungible token like currency, regular currency, a quarter, like there's a million quarters, they all have the same value, they're all interchangeable, it doesn't matter. A non-fungible token is something that is unique and specific. What's often used as an example in this is the Mona Lisa. There are a lot of, Mona Lisa is an original single piece of art. There's only one of them that exists, and you can tell who painted it and where it lives and who owns it. And it has unique special value because it is a one-of-a-kind thing. A lot of people have Mona Lisa t-shirts or prints on their wall or coffee mugs or whatever. But those are copies. You don't actually own it. And interestingly enough, those people do, sharing those things and making a thing out of that just lends more social proof and more value, more public awareness of the original piece. So basically, non-fungible tokens, one way to look at them is it is a way to prove ownership of a digital asset or of an asset. Typically it's digital, but you could even conceivably have you could apply an NFT to, I don't know, people are saying you could do it for real estate or for cars or for any kind of thing. The special thing here is that the record of all this exists on the blockchain. And blockchain is a nerdy word that turns a lot of people off. It's one thing that kept me actually from caring about NFTs originally, because it just seemed like another one of those like basement day trader things. And like, I don't need to know about these little shit coins and whatever else things. But blockchain essentially is just about a decentralized computing network, a decentralized database, a record of things that happen. And so the nice thing about the NFT space is that the things that you own are the person that created that thing has a record attached to it as a creator. The person that owns that thing has a record attached to it as the owner. And the transactions that happen to this thing on the blockchain are all recorded in just a ledger. It's just a list. Here's the thing, and here's what happens to it, and here's what it cost, and when, and it's all transparent, and nobody controls it. It's just because it's all decentralized. It just exists on a million machines circulated around the world, and it's just a record. So what this affords us is an opportunity to create assets and list them on a blockchain and hopefully provide value for them and interest for people to give them a reason to care about owning them. One of the first steps here is that you'll see is NFTs are being used to trade digital art. People are, creating art and selling these things, and you can buy them, trade your cryptocurrency for it, and then you have ownership for it. For as it relates to us as founders, as entrepreneurs in our kind of world, these things provide a way for us to do all kinds of things that we haven't even thought of yet. You might sell tickets eventually as NFTs. You might sell brand assets as NFTs. For Founders Live, the company colors exist as they are a visual NFT, but their main functionality is around utility. They provide access to the premium membership platform. They give you VIP privileges at events. They give you all kinds of other things. And we can do this because these things are on the blockchain. The NFTs offer programmability. Ethereum is, these are all data records, and you can build applications, websites, bots, interactions that allow you as a brand to scan who out there has ownership of the assets you've created, and you can allow those addresses extra privileges to your experiences. So we'll be using today Founders Live company colors as our main example, mostly because we created those and we want everybody to know about them. But what we're talking about here today, it can apply broadly to anything. So I hope what we show you kind of sparks imagination for what you can do as a founder, the things that you could offer your customers, more than just, putting out a picture of your logo and trying to sell it for $2,000, attaching some kind of reason for them to have it and some kind of utility. So we'll show how we plan to do that for Founders Live.
And Luis, I want to step in, and great explanation. I want to add to that, and for all of you, really like going into, because again, Luis just expressed his hesitation previously, and I want to express my hesitation, and he's heard me say this a lot, where I'm like, it's a picture of a rock, or like it's an ape. Like, how are people spending hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on that? But the further you actually uncover this whole thing, when you look at what I'm trying to do here, everyone, as we lead Founders Live and we're bringing this to all of you, what I'm trying to do is translate to more of what makes sense to the more normal group of people in the world. And I think when I look at with NFTs, it's not about the visual. Usually it's not about the art in terms of, that could be drawn. It could be like drawn by anyone, or it could be looking so very normal. It could be a rock, it could be a picture. It's the underlying, the aspects underlying it, which basically is, number one is like, it's limited, and very much, maybe there's only 10 created, 1 created, 1,000 created, so they're limited in nature. There's scarcity involved. But secondly, the ability from having it, this asset that is on the blockchain, as Luis described, there's now an ability to determine who owns it, and by determining who actually owns it, again, you can right click and save a picture, but the blockchain allows to identify a very unique set of characters, which basically means that thing digitally is now held by this person. And the moment that is now available, so many other things can be done, and utility can be brought into the experience. So by holding something that is a digital asset, and by Founders Live being able to bring assets to you all, and if you hold them, we can say, ooh, anyone that holds this company colors has now keys to go into that room, or we had now identified a group that has chosen to engage in something that we can give them a special surprise. or whatever. So it's an ability to aggregate and congregate a group of random people in a simple way, and then provide more value, and provide surprises, and provide experiences, and provide additional membership offerings and opportunities. So it's a really cool way. So that's what turned me on, was like, oh wait, it's not necessarily just the art. It's not necessarily just the name of the collection, like I'm a Bored Ape or a CryptoPunk. It's actually a way for an organization like Founders Live to bring something to our community and start adding unique access, utility, and value. And so what we're going to talk about, and again, just being mindful of time, this is not the only talk we're going to give, by the way. So we will cover other things over time. But what we want to do here is, obviously explaining, and if anyone has questions, keep, thinking. You can put them in the chat or whatever. But we want to shift now to, what Founders Live has created within this environment. These are our first, this is the Genesis series. These are our first of NFTs. They are experiments, and yet we've really learned a lot already. And so as Luis, I want you to kind of dive into the company colors to start with. I'm going to share my screen so that we can check some things out. Luis, if you have a screen to share as well, like feel free to do
I was going to suggest maybe I'll just drive through. What I'd like to do for everybody is the discussion of company colors will be incidental to, they'll be the example that I'm using throughout this. But I'm going to go through, we have a help page on our NFT site about how to set up a wallet, what a wallet is, how to get it funded, and how to actually make a purchase. That's the main thing we'd like to cover here today, is just kind of those nuts and bolts of even just getting started. One thing to understand with all this is that, like, this just like getting equipped to be on the blockchain and to make purchases, it's a one-time thing. And once you've done this, then buying and doing all the other stuff that you need to do is as simple as making any other purchase. It's just that initial setup. And we recognize that, almost everybody is not yet set up. So we thought we would just guide everybody through a specific process to do this as easy as possible. And so it can get you going. So if you were to start with us or with any other project, you'd still be going through the initial setup. I also have kind of a skip section where it's like, if you already have crypto, if you have a wallet, here's how to get funded for our chain and for the stuff that we're selling. But most people will start at the beginning, and that's what I'll use here. So I'll share my screen, and I'm just going to go through our website, and we'll click through on the different things and see how it's going. And right before I get to that, by the way, I do want to mention that two other things I'd add about relevance for NFT. I won't go into it any deeper, but community actually is a thing. If you are a Founders Live holder, you belong to a Founders Live community, there's a bunch of other people that own those things, and you can be part of those, be part of that community. If you're an Atom Bomb holder, you're in the Atom Bomb Discord, and you're part of those conversations. It's a whole new world. So yes, NFTs also bring a social aspect to them, which is really fun. And a lot of people find their other people of like minds in that way. And the last thing too is NFTs have a resale market. Secondary sales is a huge reason why people are NFTs. A lot of people are in for speculation and all that stuff, but even just as a store of value, some people like to just buy things because they see that those assets increasing in value, and they want to support artists or just have things that increase in value or have a resellability. So that's a nice angle. We'll go into all those on a different session.